WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to the source, WOCA.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com. Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I have always loved the ocean. I grew up on Long Island, and Jones Beach was just a short... Well, I used to walk to it, actually. It was 8 miles, but when I was a kid, 8 miles didn't seem to matter. Or took the bus, or both. Or hitchhiked, and we did that too.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Florida, of course, I've always loved the beach, but I live in Central Florida, and if a drive to Daytona is awesome, but you really don't go snorkeling in Daytona, right?
Yeah.
So when I went to the Keys, it was unbelievable. I went there with my son when he was younger, and we rented this snorkeling stuff, and my son needs glasses, so he actually found a prescription mask that worked for him, or magnify, whatever you call it. I don't know if prescription is the right word, but anyway, he could see underwater, and so could I, and it was beautiful. And I remember seeing barracudas, and we saw those blowfish things, that blow up if you touch them. We didn't touch them, but they go so slow. You can actually catch these fish. Not that I did. And then we saw like thousands of little shiny fish all around us, and I don't know if that meant that there was a shark nearby or what it meant, but it was just such a marvelous experience. And I've always heard, and the friends that we have down there did this all the time, and they said if you were impressed by that, you know what you would really like? You would really like taking a kayak out and going out to one of the reefs. And I've not done that yet. I think you have to actually paddle a whole mile to get to them.
Oh my
I don't
gosh,
really know.
how beautiful.
And you would think something that beautiful wouldn't have to be in somehow intermingled with politics, but it does, because you know who protects that stuff. Hey, how you doing? Do you know who protects that stuff is us. I mean, we have to make sure we have laws that protect those things. And so while politics and snorkeling don't seem to mix, they do in this case. Caroline McLaughlin is on the phone. I hope I said her name right. She'll correct me if I haven't. She is the Biscayne National Park Program Manager for the Suncoast region, and she's talking to us about this very thing. Here's the political part. It says Florida U.S. Senators Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio. He is still the senator, by the way. Maybe today things will change. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm just saying maybe. Anyway, they have I guess they've made a motion. She's going to correct anything I have wrong, to undo the Biscayne National Park Marine Reserve. A bill that would prevent the creation of a marine reserve that would protect Biscayne's fragile coral reef resource. Why would they do that?
I know.
Caroline, good morning, Caroline. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Where are you right now? Are you in South Florida?
I am in Hollywood, Florida. Yes, South Florida.
Is it raining there? Do you get rain today?
A little bit. Oh, yeah, a lot this morning.
Yeah, from that thing that's passing, 99 or whatever they call it. 999. It's got a couple different names.
Invest 99L.
Right,
like that.
Right. Isn't that a crazy name? Invest 99L. All right. Am I saying, is it Caroline or Carolyn?
Caroline.
Caroline. Okay. See, I took a 50-50 guess and got it right this time. Usually I get it wrong. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. Well, tell me about the bill. What do we need to know about this?
Sure. Well, just to clarify a few things, I work for the National Parks Conservation Association. And
okay.
So we are not the National Park Service. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit group that advocates on behalf of our national parks.
All right.
And to provide a little bit of context for what you were talking about, here in Biscayne National Park, it's our country's largest marine national park, and it's located right in the backyard of Miami. So, one of the largest metropolitan areas in the country. But unfortunately, not a lot of people know that it's here. It protects part of the third largest coral reef ecosystem in the world. What you were talking about down in the Keys, it's all part of the same reef tract, the same ecosystem. And so Biscayne protects some really incredible places, incredible reefs, fish populations. It's really a beautiful place to go visit if you have the chance.
Oh, really?
the past few decades, we've seen a very severe decline in the health of the resources here. I mean, only about 6% of the corals in Biscayne are still alive, and many fish species are heavily exploited, overfished, and some are actually on the verge of collapse.
So is the bill that we're talking about that's going to undo that? I mean, that doesn't even make sense that they would undo a bill that was protecting, especially if it's already fragile.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Biscayne National Park is in desperate need of more protection. And so the national park saw these problems. They saw the decline and said, hey, we have to do something. We have to protect our national park resources. And so they went through a 15-year public process, like 22 public meetings, 43,000 letters, scientific engagement, work with state and federal agencies. And what they decided to do was create a marine reserve zone in Biscayne. And so it would only cover about 6% of the park, but it would have really big benefits in terms of protecting the coral reef ecosystem. So the coral structures themselves, but also the fish population.
Okay.
And have an area where fish can get bigger, more abundant, and replenish.
Okay.
And so this plan was, like I said, supported by 90% of the public. And the bill that we're talking about, the Access to Sport Fishing Act, seeks to prevent the National Park Service from putting that marine reserve into place.
So so that is not in place yet, or it's been in place and it's about to expire?
It's not in place yet. Last summer, they made the decision to create the Marine Reserve.
Okay.
And to officially implement it, they have to go through a federal process to create the regulation. So it's not in place yet. We're hoping the next year or two it will be officially established.
Okay, so the title of the one that it sounds like we're opposing, Access to Sport Fishing Act of 2016, that sounds like a bill we're opposing, right? But the title makes it seem like it's just people just want to go fishing, and that in and of itself doesn't seem harmful. But I guess it's it's like the old litter bug commercial. Remember, what's one little piece of litter? Nothing, but you put enough of them together and you have a trash bin. Remember that thing?
Yes.
So is it like that? You have one guy out in a fishing boat, it's no big deal. But if you open it up to everybody, it's going to be a huge deal. Is that what this means?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the name Access to Sport Fishing Act, that doesn't sound like necessarily a bad thing, but the bill would prevent the National Park Service from doing its job to protect these resources. And in actuality, again, the Marine Reserve is 6% of the park, so that leaves 94% of the park open for recreational fishing. So people can still get out there, they can boat,
Wow.
catch fish. It's just this one small area that they're proposing to protect.
All right, now you said it's nonpartisan, and Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio on two opposite sides of the political fence. Are they both opposed? Are they both in favor of the Access to Sports Fishing Act?
It was co-sponsored by both Senator Nelson and Rubio.
Oh
Did they talk to you?
This is
I mean,
awful.
you've already made sense in just a little bit we've talked to you. How can they make a decision like that based on what you've told us? What are they thinking?
I don't know. Like I said, it was a 15-year process, and 43,000 letters came in on this. 90% of people were in favor of this Marine Reserve, and so there's so much public support for this. I mean, we've got support from Miami-Dade County, from people all around the country, from scientists at the University of Miami. World-renowned marine experts, Jean-Michel Cousteau and Sylvia Earle, have supported this. And so I think a lot of people really understand how important the Marine Reserve is to protecting Biscayne National Park and to bringing more fish back to Florida.
You need some of those famous fishing guys maybe to get on board. Get them to use their mouthpiece. They do those videos and those TV shows.
And she just said Cousteau is in favor
I know.
of them. I mean, he's like the biggest
But he's not a fisherman.
guy you can have.
Yeah, he's not a fisherman.
Yeah, that's
though.
right.
But we need somebody who would appear to be wanting the other act to be against it. That's what we need.
Well, we've got a lot of support from fishermen, from local fishermen in the area. Marty Arostegui is a #1 world record-holding fly fisherman, and he is in very strong support of this Marine Reserve.
Oh, good.
Together with other local charter boat captains, and they actually go around to fishing groups giving presentations on the Marine Reserves, because as fishermen, they get it. I mean, if you want to have fish in the future, you want to have fishing opportunities,
Yeah.
you have to take steps now to protect the fishing for the future.
Well, if this bill passes, what does Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio benefit from this? Is there something that goes in their pockets? Do you suppose?
I would say if this bill passes, again, it's really, really problematic for not only Biscayne National Park, but it sets a really dangerous precedent for national parks around the country. I mean, here you have an act that would prevent the National Park Service from basically upholding its founding mission to protect the national parks. And if they can't, implement policies and measures to protect the national parks, so that's going to be a serious problem.
So let me try to ask questions that the other side would be like tough questions they might have. Okay, I'm going to take a shot at this. How many square miles are we talking about? You told me what, 6%?
Yes, it's 6% of the park. In acres, that is about 10,500 acres.
That doesn't sound like much.
Wow.
That's okay. So that's one tough question that you shot down. Now here's another one. Well, that wasn't really a tough question, but that would have taken me someplace. How far would the average fisherman have to go out of his way in order to avoid the area we're talking about?
Actually, if you look at a map, two of the most common access or entry points for boats, this is almost in the middle of them, and so there's still plenty of fishing access, fishing opportunities on the reef, both north and south of it. And so this is about 30% of the reef tract in Biscayne, but again, there's other reefs within the park that still provide really fantastic fishing opportunities. And one of the things about marine reserves is that, fish are going to get larger, they're going to get more abundant, there's going to be more of them, and they're not going to stay in these, human-defined boundaries of a marine reserve. They're going to swim out. And so some of the best fishing areas in the whole world are right outside of the borders of marine reserves. And so this could actually provide a fantastic fishing
sense. That makes
area.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that makes so much sense to me. I'm having a hard time figuring out even a tough question to ask at this point. I mean, as far as playing devil's advocate, I just don't hear any in my head. So when are they planning to sign this?
It has not been passed. It was fast-tracked through the Commerce Committee, and so it's been approved by the committee, but it has not been passed yet. And so I think we still have a great opportunity for people to speak up on this. If this sounds like something that's important to you, you have an opportunity right now to call your representative, to call your senators, and tell them that the Marine Reserve is important.
But with it being fast-tracked like that, there's got to be something else. There's got to be some kind of underlying thing that's hidden in there for the fast-tracking.
Robin smells a rat.
I do. I think that's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, we can't speculate as to, why this is happening, but again, it's just a huge threat to Biscayne and to our national parks in general.
And also to the fish in there, as you pointed out, if this goes away, then that means the fish aren't going to congregate there and have their own habitat, and it's just going to disappear, and fishing will go away anyway.
Exactly. And, it's important. I mean, we're talking a lot about the environment, but it's also really important to the economy. I mean, I think all Floridians understand that here in Florida, the environment is the economy. If we don't have healthy outdoor areas, healthy reefs, healthy fish, people aren't going to come here, and they're going to take their money with them.
I know. Everybody thinks it's Disney World. That's maybe part of it, but I think you're right. I think most people come here because of that beautiful water, that beautiful opportunity to go snorkeling or scuba diving if they do that. And fishing. I'm sure fishing is a big part of it, too. And I'm sure fishermen are on board with this. I can't imagine arguing this. Do you want to see if we have somebody on the phone who wants to comment on this? Let's see. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. I just wanted to comment on the Biscayne situation. I know in a lot of the federal parks across the United States, there's legislation which is being sponsored by ALEC, which is owned basically by the Koch brothers, which are basically in the oil refinery business, that federal parks are now being exploited for oil production, oil exploration, and oil sales. I'm wondering if this is not just an interim move or measure for them. I know that Sarah Palin and the Republicans were all in favor of drilling, like literally right off the coast of Miami Beach, while you're laying out there trying to get a suntan and relax for a few days. You're worried about globs of oil coming up on you. But So I wonder if that's not the case, ma'am, and could you comment, please, on the oil companies' desire to drill in our federal parks and actually purchase them? I'll hang up and listen.
All right, good thoughts here. What do you think, Caroline?
So in terms of our national parks, I mean, one of our goals as the National Parks Conservation Association is to make sure activities both inside and outside the parks don't threaten the health of these resources. I mean, national parks are not just for us today, but they're for the benefit of future generations. So we want to make sure that we preserve them in perpetuity for all Americans. And so we are really focused on, making sure any and all activities do not damage the health of our national parks.
Yeah, makes sense. And he might be onto something. Maybe that is the ultimate goal here, is to open it up for drilling. Who knows? That could be disastrous. We don't really have enough studies to know what that could do.
Yeah, again, I think it's really important to to make sure that there's things that happen both inside and outside, especially when you're talking about water quality. I mean, water quality is affected by all sorts of activities that happen outside the park, and so when you're trying to protect things, you have to focus on kind of the entire ecosystem and all the activities that are connected around it.
So the normal things that happen when people are out fishing, does that affect the coral reef in any way?
Absolutely. I mean, fishing can definitely have an impact on not only fish populations, but on reefs themselves. So a lot of times you have problems from anchors. I mean, anchors can tear up reefs and seagrasses.
Sure.
And then fishing gear that gets lost. Entangled fishing gear can break and smother corals. And also fishing disrupts the natural food web. So when you have an imbalance and a loss of species, you can have some issues with species that typically control algal growth on the reef. And so it's important to kind of focus on the entire ecosystem. So the fish, the habitat, kind of everything that lives there all together.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to re-mention who we're talking to. Caroline McLaughlin is our guest. She's the Biscayne. Am I saying this wrong? The Biscayne National Park Program Manager. You said that wasn't correct, right? You said...
I'm the Biscayne Program Manager with the National Parks Conservation Association. I just wanted to clarify, sometimes people get us confused with the National Park Service, but we are not affiliated at all with the National Park Service. We are a nonprofit independent group.
You must have students come there, too, to study. The future marine biologists and scientists must come there to study the ecosystem to see how it can benefit other ecosystems around the country.
Yes, we've actually been working with a number of different student groups in the area. And so one group in particular kind of takes people from urban areas or kids from urban areas and takes them out into our national park and teaches them how to fish. And so a lot of these kids, even though they grew up in Miami, they've never been to the Everglades, they've never been to Biscayne, they've never been on a boat. And so we work with these groups to kind of provide the students an opportunity to learn what are our national parks and to teach them that the national parks are theirs. They belong to them, and this is their heritage. And so it's really great to kind of get young people out there, get them excited about the parks, and teach them about really all of the incredible things that are protected in the national park system.
Let me squeeze in another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for waiting.
Yes, hi. This is Dick.
Hey, Dick.
All right. Good morning. The caller previous who mentioned oil drilling, say, in national parks, prompted my call. Excuse me, back in the 90s, when the federal government decided they're going to sign onto this World Heritage Treaty, so-called, with the United Nations and produce sustainable development. The federal government owns millions and millions of acres of land which are not supported by the Constitution. And the greatest thing the government can do to help turn the United States economy completely around would be to sell off these lands that they do not technically own.
You're kind of changing the subject. We're talking specifically about the marine preserve down in the Biscayne area.
Well, this goes hand in glove with that, because at the same time they decided they were going to rewrite all the marine borders around all the countries in the world.
Yeah, I don't know that that's exactly what this is about, though. This is about protecting the coral reef.
Okay, but I'm saying, should we reconsider how these things are written? Because it's like the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It's all done by people in high places. The American people don't get to vote on it.
Okay.
So, anyway, thanks.
Well, and thank you for that. And if the American people's vote is what's important, Caroline clearly said that 90% of the letters that they get out of 44,000 letters are in support of this. Did I say the numbers right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, the caller brought up an important issue of economics. But when we're thinking about our national parks, we don't realize, I think, how much economic benefit they bring to our country. National parks are good for business. For every dollar we invest in the National Park Service, about $5 is generated back for local communities. This includes visitors staying at local hotels, eating at local restaurants, buying goods at local stores. National parks support about $30 billion every year in national economic activity, and about 300 million visitors come to see them annually. And so when we're talking about the economics of this, national parks aren't just good for protecting the environment and our culture and our history, but they are a huge economic benefit to our country.
Does that apply to the Biscayne National Park as well? Does the Biscayne National Park, is it completely underwater?
It's not. It's about 95% water.
Okay.
So it does have some mangrove areas, some keys, about 42 keys or islands. But yeah, it also has a big economic benefit for the local area. I think it's about 500,000 visitors every year.
Wow.
$32 million and support about 450 local jobs.
I thought I had another call, but I guess they hung up. So if you're somehow opposed to this, then you're free to call and write letters to your elected officials. But if I feel like I'm convinced that I would be opposed to the bill.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're in favor of the bill, I guess you would write also. Whatever your feelings are, I mean, it's good that Caroline is bringing this to our attention. And the only thing we can really do in the broadcast world is to get the word out. And Caroline has done that so eloquently. So we have a general picture of what this is about. If you want to learn more, I guess you could go online and do research. And otherwise, is it just the senators who vote on this, or are the representatives in on this too, the rest of Congress?
This bill is specifically a Senate bill, but there has also been bills introduced in the House. And so I would say that really anyone who cares about the national parks, who cares about Biscayne National Park, to call their representatives, to call their senators, and tell them how important a marine reserve is in Biscayne.
And it's really absurd that they're talking about 6% that will be off limits to the fishing and things, where they've got 94% that they're able to fish from.
Yeah,
it just is absolutely absurd that Senator Nelson and Senator Rubio would do something to be very destructive. It's awful.
I think Mark was onto something. I think they're in. Yeah, I think there's somebody, like you said, Robin. There's some money behind it or something. Caroline, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I don't think we would have known about this if you weren't on this radio tour. So my apologies if we had dumb questions, but I just think I was in the dark about this. So thank you for filling us in.
No, thank you so much for talking to me. And I would say if people want to learn more, they can always visit our website, www.npca.org/morefishinfl.
Okay, and Robin already has that actually on my notes, so we'll put that on the link when we put this podcast up. Caroline, thank you.
Thank you again.
All right, you're welcome. We will take a little break and be right back.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. It's time to get that new look started. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon, 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. And whether you're going on a job interview or out on a date, your hands do a lot of talking. Manicures are a must. Hello Gorgeous is a full-service salon, so let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too.
Hello, gorgeous.
My name is David Moore, and I'm running for County Commission District 1 here in Marion County, Florida. The reason I'm running is I believe that government is of the people, by the people, and for the people, not of the special interests, by the special interests, and for their own self-serving interest. My faith lays the foundational principles for my decision-making process. I believe that public safety matters. The reason we have government is to protect the public, and we need to take care of those who take care of us. This is David Moore. I would appreciate your vote on August 30th. Paid political advertisement paid for and approved by David Moore, Republican for County Commission District 1.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala.
Carmen Roberts. Busy in the tropics, Hurricane Madeline is aiming for the Big Island of Hawaii and off the coast of North Carolina. A tropical depression's getting close.
We don't think it's going to make a landfall per se across the Outer Banks. It might come close or brush the Carolina coastline as a tropical storm, perhaps within the next 6 to 12 hours, but then it's going to go out to sea.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. Meantime, Tropical Depression number 9 is creeping through the Gulf of Mexico.
This will be a big deal Thursday into Friday for Florida.
That system may grow into a minimal hurricane and make landfall sometime between Wednesday into Thursday, north of Tampa. And Apple CEO Tim Cook says the company never requested special deals on its taxes from Ireland. Apple and Ireland plan to appeal the European Union's ruling that the company owes $14.5 billion in back taxes. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Geico presents a voicemail from your friend, Tree Branch.
Hi, it's me, Tree Branch. So, about the other night, look, it's no secret your roof and I never quite got along. It's a roof and I'm a branch, and that's how these things go. But I'm calling to say I'm really, truly sorry about what I did to your gutters and skylight. And also, I'm not paying for the damage. Okay, bye.
Trees never pay for roof damage. Luckily, one call to the Geico Insurance Agency makes it easy to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The Commodity Credit Corporation has announced the loan values and loan rates of 4 types of peanuts for the new 2016 season. Commodity Credit Corporation calculated the price support levels for each type using the same method they've used for years. CCC uses the national average of $3.55 per ton and the 5-year average quality standards along with a 3-year simple average to come up with the rates. But runner-type peanuts will only net $3.54.43, and that means that the peanuts will be a little bit less based on the sound mature kernels. The rates as of August the 1st went into effect. They'll continue until February the 1st. Commodity Credit Corporation will now apply premiums and discounts for quality factors. The average $3.55 will be a grade of about 72, but 80 grade price will be higher than the $3.54.
The region's peanut crop is well on its way, and growers know pegging time is critical in the crop's development. To Senator Curley's regional representative, Ed Lowndes, travels the southeast region more than anybody we know, and he says TKI's Crop Vitality product line has what it takes to maximize quantity and quality of your peanut crop at harvest time.
At pegging time, ask for CATS, calcium thiosulfate, 0.006% calcium, 10% sulfur, the most soluble form of calcium you can apply for your peanuts during pegging time.
A crop nutrient expert here in the deep southeast for many years, TKI's Lowndes offers some specific reasons peanut growers should consider CATS and other TKI Crop Vitality products for lasting impact all season long.
Gives you quality peanuts, early maturity, helps fill the peanut pods, helps eliminate pops and sheds at harvest.
And Lowndes adds, it's simple to learn more. Just contact your supplier and
ask for it by name. CATS, TKI Crop Vitality Products.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Election Day is Tuesday, August 30th. I need your vote. I'm Bridget Smith, registered nurse, veteran, and farmer of Marion County. I am running for Marion County Commissioner for you. I am disgusted with how our tax dollars are being spent. I will be a steward of your tax dollars and truly be the commissioner, representative of you, the people. I am Bridget Smith. I will dismember the status quo. Political advertisement paid for and approved by Bridget Smith. I am Bridget Smith, and I approve this message.